Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So, after a very long time, I finally managed to go for a ride. If you've been following my channel and my videos, you would have seen the last video that I posted. I was redoing my front walkway, which pretty much took up almost close to 2 months of time to complete. So, all of my weekends was actually spent working on that little project that I'd started. So, I couldn't get any riding done. So, after church, this Sunday, I decided to go for a short ride to this little port called Port Burwell. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Port Burwell. Burwell. Port Burwell is about 30 minutes from where I live. It's on Lake Erie. Lake Erie is a huge lake which borders US and Canada. It's a very beautiful lake. There are a lot of ports there. In fact, there is a very famous port called Port Dover. It's a very huge port and it's very well known among the biking circle. It's got a very scenic bike route along the lake. But I didn't want to do Port Dover today because it's almost like a 1 hour ride one way to the port, and it was a little bit overcast this morning. It rained last night, and I didn't want to be in a position where I got stuck in the rain riding the bike. I haven't ridden in the rain before, and it's generally not advised if you are a new rider. So, keeping the weather in mind, I decided to do Port Burwell instead of Port Dover, and you can see the rain clouds here. Pretty overcast, though it did not at the end rain. In fact, it was pretty sunny during some parts of the ride. I still felt that a 30-minute ride is a good way to get started to take my bike on longer journeys. For those of you who don't know, I am still on the, technically I am M2, but I still have the M1 license. So in Canada, you have different levels of licenses where there are a lot of restrictions. You obviously start with an M1, which is almost like a student rider license, allowing you to ride and practice. And then you kind of transition into an M2, which I've done. I took a motorcycle safety course. I passed the exam, but there's a 60-day waiting period before you can actually get your M2. With your M2, you can go on the highway. We have a 400 series highway here, almost like an interstate highway, which you cannot ride with your M1. So though I passed my test, I still have to get the physical card, and I cannot go on to the interstate highway without that. So Port Burwell, you really don't need to go on the 400 series. You can do it on the 80-kilometer limit highway, which is what I've done today. And these are the footages from my ride. So I'm going to stop yapping and then show you some of the videos from my ride today. So though it was overcast, I did see a lot of riders today, and you will see this rider here. Okay, did you catch that? Okay, if you didn't, I'm gonna rewind and show it back to you again. So I found that a lot of riders here, when they see other riders on the road, they make this peace or this victory sign, and it's essentially to acknowledge the other rider and then give them a little thumbs up, which was very confusing for me the first time because I thought I was making a mistake and they were kind of pointing out a mistake. So when I eventually did find out that it meant that we are acknowledging other riders, and in the ride today as well, there were quite a few people on the road who were riding motorbikes, and they were giving me the peace symbol. I gave them the peace symbol. It just felt very good. So I wanted to share this Bible reading with you all. It's from Psalm 40, and it goes, "I waited patiently for the Lord. He inclined to me and heard my cry. He drew me up from the desolate pit, out of the miry bog, and set my feet upon a rock, making my steps secure. He put a new song in my mouth, a song of praise to our God. Many will see and fear and put their trust in the Lord. Here I've reached Port Burwell. It was a pretty recent ride, pretty nice ride. It was a little bit hot, but I still made it. I was trying to find parking. I've never been there. So I was kind of riding around the streets. The lake was on my left side, so I knew that I had to find some parking on the left. I knew I'm not going to be spending too much time, so I found this little nook where there were like a few vehicles parked, and I eventually did park my bike here, and here I am at Port Burwell. இந்த பீச் போகிற பழக்கமே எனக்கு புரியவே இல்லை. மண்ணாக இருக்கும், சூடாக இருக்கும், கசகசன்னு வேறு இருக்கும். தெரில, நான் சென்னையில் இருக்கும்போது கூட எனக்கு பீச் போகிறதுலாம் பெரிய ஒரு லைக் ஐ வில் நெவர் லைக் கோயிங் டு த பீச். இங்கேயும் சும்மா பார்த்துட்டு தூரத்துலேருந்து பார்த்துட்டு ஓகே லுக்ஸ் நைஸ், அவ்வளோதான். பட் இங்கேயும் ரொம்ப ஹாட்டாக இருக்குது, கொஞ்சம் ஹியூமிடாக வேறு இருக்குது. அவ்வளோதான், வந்ததுக்கு போர்ட் பியூரல் பார்த்துட்டேன், வீட்டுக்கு போக வேண்டியது தான். So quite a few people were waving at me when I was riding the bike. That was a lot of fun. So there's one kid there and another kid a little bit down the road in another section. He was also waving at me, and I found it really funny and even a little bit embarrassing. So yeah, there's the kid and he was waving at me, and like I said, I felt a little bit embarrassed, a little bit funny, because in Canada riding a bike is kind of seen as something very unique. Not everybody does it, versus back home in India it's everybody rides a motorbike. So getting acknowledgement from people, getting cheers from people, it's a conversation starter when you tell somebody that hey, I went riding this week, and then people are really excited to talk about it. As I was riding the motorcycle back home, I was thinking back to my time back in Chennai. I started on a TVS XL, and then my sister, she had a used scooty which I used to ride as well, and then I progressed to a Yamaha RX100, and then eventually to a Royal Enfield. And I realized that, riding was always a part of my life growing up. And I remember riding in that crazy T-Nagar traffic when I used to work Venkat Narayana Road. And then I used to work in Besant Nagar, so riding from Besant Nagar to Ananagar, where I used to live, almost like an hour drive in the heat, in the sweat, and now riding in beautiful Canada. And I'm not saying one is better than the other, but definitely thankful to God for giving me the opportunity to experience riding in a country like this. So yeah, eternally thankful for this opportunity. And now, as I was heading back, I realized I was low on fuel. My bike is fuel injected; it's not carbureted, so there is no fuel pump or reserve. And I do have an indicator for low fuel. And then my camera also kind of conked out because of low battery. But yeah, I've kind of topped up fuel, went back home, and then it was a pretty good Sunday and a pretty good day of riding.